Okay. We are recording. I'm not in shot. Oh, I am. All right.
I wish you weren't in shot.
All right. Relax there, Connor. I don't need your sass. Gosh. Anyways, what's up, everybody? How's it going? Welcome back to another episode of the Designated Players Podcast. We are going to go ahead and give some predictions today. I know we've been off for a little bit of the prediction bandwagon because of how crazy the schedule is, but now the schedule is set. There are games all throughout every day because, wow, I'm looking at this schedule. The first two playoff games. Oh, okay, no, it's a Saturday. We'll be okay. I thought I saw the first two playoff games being 12 and 3 on a Friday. I was like, that's so MLS. But no, playoffs are here. Playoffs are set. Teams are in. We did our little recap last week. We are back into playoffs. It's time to predict who is going to win it all. I don't know if we want to just say Red Bull are taking it all now. Brian White with 15 goals in the next 4 games. All we know is that there is one of our hosts gets to watch as a neutral this year. Connor, are you excited?
Yeah, I mean, the blood pressure is going to stay down the entire time. That's good. The doctor will be happy with that one.
I reckon it's probably,
it's going to be over. It's going to be fine, honestly. It'll be enjoyable.
If you were going to miss the playoffs at all, this is the year to do it because this year is just so out
messed
there.
up.
But at the same time, if Red Bull were going to win the playoffs, this is the year to do it because everybody needs an excuse of why we won. Because as we've talked about, anytime the Red Bulls do anything good, there's always an excuse for the other team. But when Red Bull lose, it's just because the other team's better. But anyways, I reckon it'll probably be for you a lot like the USMNT not making the World Cup. You'll get to sit back, watch some games, pick a favorite, and follow them along until they lose, and then eventually just follow along with playoffs till they're gone, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to cheer for whoever I picked in my bracket because I want a perfect bracket.
All right. Let's say if you had to pick one team, not to give away the spoiler, but if you had to pick one team, like just to back, like if FCC, we're all on the FCC train, right? Right. He's got. I don't even know. This is whatever. But if you had to pick one team, just to back for a little bit, who are you backing?
That's a tough question. There's a couple of teams where I'm like, all right, I would cheer for them, but nobody that looks like really stands out. In the East, I'm tempted to say Nashville, even though they're supposed to be like a rival, not really. But
I think it would be that didn't happen.
Yeah, I think it'd be exciting to watch them do well. But and a West team, probably like I don't want to pick a team from the East to cheer for the whole way, so I think I'll go with the Loons. Why not?
Those are the two answers I was looking for. I was looking for Nashville because everybody can get behind a good expansion team, and I was looking for the Loons because we all love a good bit of the Loons. But backtracking a little bit, speaking of the USMNT have finally played. So before we jump into all that, we want to talk about that for a little bit. Do we want to do Scarf of the Week first? Adam, you got something? I know Connor has his.
I like how you just skipped over Connor for this.
Yeah, there's no reason to anymore.
Yeah, so before, little preview before we get into the national team, I just brought my American Outlaw US scarf.
I got mine too.
Nice.
Up the States, baby. Yeah, I figured after the great game we had to rep the nation. But I've also got the Red Bull cap because playoffs start on Saturday.
We won a game. Can't say that too often. Does that mean we qualify? Beating Panama qualifies for the World Cup, right?
Listen. We all understand that Panama team was awful, but there is some genuine excitement in this squad. I am so hyped watching this team play. I don't know why, because our back line was awful. Matt Miazga might be one of the worst defenders I've ever seen. Now, I don't know. I didn't watch the Wales game. I was away. I didn't have time to watch it. But I've heard he was okay in the Wales game. But today –
I'm just going to clip this because we all know Michael Bradley and Kyle Beckerman are still going to start.
Stop it. If Michael Bradley and Kyle Beckerman end up in the national team pool in
Kyle Beckerman
World Cup qualifying.
Michael Bradley will.
If
he will.
If they end up in the pool, you can clip this. If they end up in the pool, I am supporting Canada. I'm not doing this anymore.
I mean,
I'm tired of
we were doing
seeing
that anyway.
old-ass Michael Bradley playing center midfield over Weston McKennie, Tyler Adams, or anybody else. I'm so tired of it because I don't need to see the ball go backwards 90 times a game. I don't need it. I just don't need it in my life. Oh,
I hate
God.
to break it to you, but I think that's what's going to happen. And I think Zardes is absolutely 100% going to be in the team now.
So I think Zardes actually might make the team, but I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Because he actually can do something.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely. Come on, Bradley's going to be in the team. You know
Adam,
it.
we've been recording for 7 minutes and you've already got me going. I hate
The new record.
Oh, man. If Michael Bradley gets in there, honestly, I don't mind Kyle Beckerman. Kyle Beckerman, I mean, if he gets in there, he won't play. But, man, if Michael Bradley steps on the field, or if Michael Bradley makes a team, you know he's going to step on the field, and we're going to have no attack going forward. Oh,
Josie will probably make the team also, even though I think he's barely played this year.
Josie's still the number 9 that I don't mind because we know what he can do.
Can we do what Toronto does when we just start Josie and then bring Io Akinola on in for him?
Somebody cap Io Akinola. Somebody.
We gave debuts to everyone else. Why not him?
Well, that's what I mean. Call them in. Michael Bradley just makes me boil a little bit. But I'm excited. I think the U.S. team has something going for them. And granted, it was a bad Panama team, right? But it's Panama, which is a team that we need to beat. And, yes, we went down, and our back line was a little shaky. But I think Brooks starts over Miazga. I think Ream was fine, but I think Ream comes out and plays for anybody else. Give me Aaron Long. Give me
Walker
Zimmerman, absolutely. Give me Matt Hedges, absolutely. I think Serginho Dest might be the best outside back in the world. Him and Alphonso Davies are definitely 1-2. That man is disgustingly good.
Let's go CONCACAF.
We're just tearing it up. It's the takeover. It's the takeover.
CONCACAF fullbacks make the world takes.
All right. Yeah, all right. You're stretching it there. But, yeah, there's a lot of promise. We're not going to harp on it too much because there's, again, the team wasn't enough to say, yeah, we're really hyped about this because we just beat a Spain or a Portugal. But there's promise there. They had a lot of fun. You saw for the first time, I think, in a while that we had fun playing football, which is wild. But I'm excited. Anybody got any thoughts on that?
I felt like I didn't get to see the Wales game, but watching the game today, I mean, you could see the talent that was on the field while they were playing. Like, it was just, it felt like almost every single person that was on the field, with maybe the exception of the center backs, or I should just say center back for this game, was just like super talented and could, on their own, just like be one of the better players that we've had in a long time. And now it's just going to be a question of like getting them to work together. And I know that they're young, so they have time to do it, but it looked a little bit messy, to say the least, today. But the talent was definitely there.
So the one thing that I was noting while I was watching this was, for the first time in a while since watching this team, it looked like everybody knew how to play. It looked like everybody went in there and knew the movement, the passing patterns, the individual, attacks that they had to make. It wasn't just, oh, Josie's up there, boom, send it. Or, oh, look, it's Michael Bradley, kick it backwards, and then boom, send it, right? We had genuine idea of what we were doing, which I haven't seen in a long time. You had, outside backs pushing up, Tyler Adams dropping back playing distributor, Weston McKennie being an 8. Yunus Musa was doing really well too. I don't know who Gia Cherney is or whoever he was, but he had a good day. Our wingers were awesome. Gio Reyna was really good. It's all but they all work together enough where even though they only had a week together, they just know that this is how soccer's played. This is how football's played. Check into this space, give it back to him, peel off. Penetrate in this area, switch the field if it's not there. Just little things like that we haven't seen in forever because Kyle Beckerman and Michael Bradley just go side to side every day. I don't know. I'm really hyped. But
as much as I hate as much as I hate to say it, I feel like that's a product of them playing over in Europe as opposed to playing in MLS.
100%. Because when you learn and I'm learning it now, and I know Adam knows it too, when you're learning through the U.S. system, too many coaches don't know the game well enough. So they just say, kick it up and go get it. And that's in your brain for years. And it's so hard to get out. Now, when you go overseas, you're 12, 13, 14, and you're learning a true system. You're learning truly how to play. It translates so much better. You don't have that huge learning curve. And that's where we got to really step up individually. And I mean, I know myself, I don't know about Adam, but I'm personally just trying to make them learn where to pass the ball, where to make their runs. Because at the end of the day, they'll figure the game out. But if the only thing in their mind is this ball is rolling toward me, I'm going to kick it as far as I can and just go get it, they'll never be able to develop. They're going to be stuck on the same level. You know what I mean?
I'm still working on left and right sides of the field with some of my kids, so system might have to wait.
So some of them need a little bit more, but I've got players who can be very, very good. But I've got one girl specifically who is one of my better players, and she'll pick the ball up at half. She's my striker, and we'll just try to run through everybody instead of combining and going. And I keep trying to tell her, I'm like, stop trying to turn when you got two people on your back and just run past them. These people are getting old enough, fast enough, athletic enough where they're going to keep up with you, and you can't just get by them anymore. Keep it, lay it off, peel off, and get in that gap. And she's starting to get it, but the players around her now need to start getting it. You know what I mean? Okay, so that's our United States men's national team update. 2022 World Cup coming home. Yeah, we agree. Awesome. Into our predictions. We've got two play-in games in the East because scheduling is silly. We've got New England, Montreal, and we've got Nashville, Miami, the two expansion teams taking on each other. 9 o'clock in 4 days. That's Friday, isn't it? Yeah. 9 o'clock, 4 days. You're looking at Nashville versus Miami. 6:30, you're looking at New England, Montreal. Let's start off first. Predictions. Who wins? Why? Connor Wright.
Andrew Barnacle.
Who wins the New England, Montreal game?
I went with New England. And now, this was not a super easy choice because I mainly looked at two things. I looked at form coming into the playoffs, and I looked at head-to-head against each other during the season.
Uh-huh.
New England has awful form coming into the playoffs. But guess who's not that much better? Montreal. Both teams have been terrible coming into the playoffs. Montreal's won 2 of their last 5 and lost the other 3. New England's won 1, drew 1, and then lost 3. So both of them are not doing so hot coming in. Now, I got to check again, but my guess is that New England has won the head-to-head against Montreal, and that's probably why I put them ahead of Montreal. Yeah, so just about a month ago, New England and Montreal played, and New England won that game. And I think that they can replicate that again here.
Interesting. Adam.
I'd probably say New England as well.
Incorrect. You're not allowed to say that.
Hey, we have backed Montreal pretty much this entire season, and every time I think they're making progress, they lose someone like Tider, or like they lose a game they shouldn't, and I don't get the feeling that they have the form what it takes right now to go win a playoff game versus a New England team that pretty much treats every game like a playoff game. Like they don't win big ever. Like they win 1-0 grind out results pretty much on a weekly basis. So I kind of feel like that'll just push them over. Like this game's not going to be high scoring.
Interesting. So I also went with New England. Sorry, Montreal fans, but there's only one reason that I went with New England, and it has nothing to do with anything other than the main man, Bruce Arena. Bruce Arena knows how to win playoff games, plain and simple. And you put him anywhere in a playoff scenario or a need to get in scenario or anything like that, he will get you results. I think Matt Turner is a very good goalkeeper, better than Diop or it's Diop now. They got rid of Bush. Bush isn't there anymore. So it's just Diop. And I rate Turner over Diop. You mentioned that Montreal keep losing a ton of their players. I think Thierry Henry's got something tricky up the sleeve, but I think Bruce Arena can handle it. So I go New England. Are we doing we'll do score predictions, boys. Score predictions. Do you want to do them all at the end? Let's do them all at the end. I'll track them all at the end. Nashville, Miami. This is the one I'm looking forward to. 2 expansion teams meeting in the playoffs. It has to be for the first time ever, right? Outside of year 1, when everybody was an expansion team. It has to be.
Probably.
Yeah, I would think so.
I'd have to think so because FCC didn't make it. Minnesota didn't make it. It's got to be. It's got to be. Adam, go ahead and enlighten me on why you think Miami's moving on in this game. Or don't you?
I don't.
Yes. Good man.
I obviously am rooting for Miami. Like I will be more than okay if I am wrong on this prediction, but if you look at the way the two teams have set up, especially leading up to this playoff game, like one team's in form and one team isn't. Robles still isn't back for Miami. He's still doing rehab. Nashville are beating pretty much everyone. Like they look good going forward. They look good going like toward the back. Joe Willis has 17,000 clean sheets this year.
I don't understand that. I still don't understand that. The other thing I don't understand is how Houston have a goalkeeper with the most saves in the league and a player who's joint highest assist getter, and they finished dead last. How does that happen?
So I was thinking about that today, and we give Cincinnati – well, I say we. I give Cincinnati a lot of crap for not winning. They have, 10, 12 wins in 2 years?
Yeah.
Houston finished with 4 wins, and I have yet to hear a single thing about this.
Because I tell you this, Houston and DC and FC Dallas, you could tell me at any point in the year they are either in first place, dead last, or somewhere in the middle, and I would believe you because I don't believe they actually play games.
But dead last is okay because obviously someone has to finish in dead last. But, with a team that has the history that Houston does, you won 4 games. 4. That's horrendous. Some teams won that in MLS is back. And it took you the whole season to win 4 games.
Unreal. But
and you have Darwin,
fair,
so that's 3 wins right there.
They finished dead last in the West, not dead last overall. Our good buddies FCC did that.
Correct.
But
I hate on FCC enough. I don't hate on Houston or give.
We all should hate on Houston more. I agree.
I think it's just the teams that wear orange. I think it's not a good color for soccer.
Something like that. I don't know. James Harden will turn it around.
True.
Will he?
No.
He's going to leave Houston.
He's going to go to Brooklyn and he'll turn around us. He'll turn us around.
Yeah.
Up the metro. Okay. Connor, Nashville, Miami. Got any other ideas here?
Nashville. But it's going to be like a typical Nashville, 1-0 win.
They've been scoring more. I think everybody's just sleeping on how Gary Smith has gotten them playing, man. They score.
That's debatable.
Hold on. Let's look at the schedule here.
They scored against Orlando. They scored 3 against Orlando, but then the 4 games before that, they scored 3 goals.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I feel like I've seen them just blow up recently.
That was about a month ago. They had back-to-back games with 3 goals.
Yeah, I was about to say I thought they had a really good span where they were just lighting the world on fire.
Well, I mean, I don't know if I'd say lighting the world on fire because one of the games was Houston, but
hey, you got to beat up on the teams you got to beat up on, right?
That's
they scored
true.
4 against other Southern Dumpster Fire FC.
Yeah, that's not that hard this season.
But yeah, otherwise, like they have a few games where there are multiple goals, and the rest of them are zeros and ones. So that's fair. I overestimated them, but listen, I think Garrett Smith got them in the right direction. I think they're moving together really well. Dax McCarty is a GOAT. Alex Maweel. Listen, they signed Alex Maweel, and they made the playoffs. Coincidence? I think not.
Oh, okay.
Alex, you're the GOAT. I also got Nashville in here simply because they got no Luis Robles. Back line's okay, but without that leader in the back, he's going to have to, it's John McCarthy still, right? Yeah. Sorry, I wasn't looking. I was looking through this other screen. John McCarthy is good, not great. And we've seen that he has been less than successful filling the roles of the GOAT. So, I'm not sold on their attack. Lewis Morgan is good. Gonzalo Higuain's nah. Les Matuidi is not as mobile and influential as people thought he would be. I'm not sold. And they snuck in as the 10, didn't they? They were the last spot.
Yep.
So they could pull off something special. I would rather see Nashville in, so I'm going to pick Nashville.
Nothing to do with either of these teams, but bringing up Higuain kind of made me think of it. If Luka Modric goes to the Galaxy, I think he gets paid more than Higuain, just putting it out there.
All right, first of all, let's backtrack for a second. Luka Modric to LA Galaxy. Why ruin somebody's career by sending him to LA Galaxy? Why do that? Because you know what that means to me too is that if they're looking at him, Pavon's out the door. Because they don't have the money for both. Nor do they have the DP slots, I'm assuming. Unless they get a Luka Modric rule.
Yeah, who knows?
Because you've got Pavon, Chicharito, and Dos Santos. So one of them's got to go.
I mean, we've said they need a way to get Chicharito above the ball. So,
and fair, that's a great way to do it. I think maybe I don't know if he'd handle the physicality of.
Nah, he wouldn't.
Ozzy Alonso coming in snapping ankles 3 minutes into every game, but that'd be an interesting transfer. Anyways, so we're all on Nashville. We're all in on
New England.
New England, right? Let's move into the Eastern Conference. We'll start at the top. Philadelphia versus what would end up being
in New England.
New England. So Philly, New England would be the first one. I'm going to go ahead and start this one off. I was trying to think of who I wanted to start, and I was like, I'll start it off. And this one's easy to me. Jim Curtin's Philadelphia takes this one. I think they are just, again, people sleep on them, but I think they have enough to get by at least New England. Shabilko is really good. I think he's probably one of the most underrated players of all the whole league. Kai Wagner, I don't know if anybody saw those links of Kai Wagner out to Premier League. I think it was West Ham was one of them, and Bundesliga, like top Bundesliga clubs. So easily one of the best left backs in the league. Excuse me. Who's the other one? Sergio Santos. I believe I made that comment earlier in the year that he was going to have a really good year this year, and he's been pretty good. And then Jamiro Montero holding that midfield together with a back line of Captain Jack and Mark McKenzie and goalkeeper of the year, Andre Blake. Congratulations, Mr. Blake, on a fantastic season. But I think altogether they are just – Bruce can get it done in the first game, but I think that second game, I think he's just overmatched. Unless Teal Bunbury becomes super Teal Bunbury and runs things out the door. I think Philadelphia just have enough to get it over the line. We can look back at head-to-head stuff, but Philadelphia won the Supporters' Shield. We know that they've pretty much beaten everybody. It's just a matter of keeping that culture going and keep going forward, and I think Jim Curtin's got a really good group of guys who are going to follow him wherever he goes. I'm picking Philly for this one.
Yeah, I mean, you have to be either a New England fan or kind of dumb to not pick Philly. They have the bye. They have a little bit more rest than New England does, or whoever makes that spot. But for a Philly team that's looked as good as they do, and obviously winning the Supporters' Shield, like if they go out first round, that's a bad look.
Oh, yeah. I mean, listen, it wouldn't be the first time somebody
No,
fell on their face after winning the Supporter Shield.
no, but
Times 3.
I know. I was trying not to bring it up.
I'm going to bring it up anyway. It's going to be a very, very modern theme here.
But and we'll get onto this in a little bit, but I would be very surprised if this Philly team doesn't go very far. I think the 11 they have plus a couple on the bench are, I'd argue, the strongest core in the league in terms of all around like depth and talent this year. There could be some team I'm missing. That's just off the top of my head.
Mm-hmm.
But the options they have to bring off the bench, so like Jacob Glesnes, Ilsinho, like they have some ridiculous players to bring off. So like I would be very, very, very disappointed and surprised if they don't go very far into this.
Sure, I agree with that. I think they've got enough to go around, and they're deep, right? That's the big one, is that they are deep enough to do it. So, yeah, that'd be a tough one.
Yeah, hard to not go with Philly here. I mean, like I said, New England. Yeah, I took a look at every team's form for the last 5 games coming into this. New England has the worst form in the entire league. Like every single team that's made the playoffs, New England has the worst form. I think despite that, they have enough to get past Montreal, but I don't think they're getting past Philly. Not the way Philly looks this year.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I don't think there's much more to say, right? Players to watch: Montero, Shabilko, Andre Blake in the back. For New England, Carlos Hill, Teal Bunbury, Matt Turner, probably the top 3 on each side. Anybody got anybody else I want to watch?
No.
Interesting. Okay. Orlando Yankees B team. Connor, tell us about the superior Southern team versus Yankee Stadium B team. Who wins this game?
I think this could actually be one of the best first round matchups of the entire playoffs, honestly.
On the same page there.
Yeah, NYC is red hot coming into the playoffs. They've won their last 4 games. They have Maxey back, which I think could be a huge difference for them. I think really the only thing they're missing right now is a striker. That's going to be, can Castellanos produce for them up top? Is that where he plays? I know on Google that's where they list him as. I don't know if he's play striker.
He has stepped into that role once Ibarra was hurt and Mitricha was sold. So he has been playing there. He's been much better than I thought he would be. I will put my hand up and say I thought he was going to be a flop. I thought they were going to miss the playoffs or something, like to go into that play-in game because they had no striker. I was very, very set on NYC having an awful run of it without those 2 strikers, and he has stepped up to the plate. I will put my hand up and say I missed that call, but very impressed, very, very impressed with the way he's played. It's going to make it tough. The center backs are going to have a lot to deal with there because he's so good with his movement. And Maxey is so good at finding people up there. So as long as they're linked up together, it's going to be a tough day for those back 4.
Yeah, I think that, not to discredit Orlando, but they've also been playing really well going into the playoffs here. And obviously, at the beginning of the season, nobody expected Orlando to be in this situation. We all looked at them during MLS's back tournament, and they felt like one of the best teams there. I mean, top of the league. I feel like they've taken a bit of a step back a little bit. Not to say that they haven't been good. They still finished in 4th in the East. I just feel like they've fallen off a little bit, and that is going to be enough for a streaking NYC team to beat them out in the first round in a tough game, a close one.
So you're going NYC?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. I'll jump on this one here. I'm going to go against you here. And this one, without any bias, I think it would be so MLS for a team that finished bottom of the league last year or close enough to it to go on a run the very next year after hiring one manager and two players. That's just the most MLS thing that could possibly happen. I think they are playing well. I think the NYC backline is especially if they're going to get turnovers in the middle of the pitch, right? They're going to send Tanner home forward. They're going to send Matrica forward. They're going to leave that back three with Ring, Sands, and Cayennes, or whoever they want to put back there. But if they can cause that turnover in the middle of the field with Antonio Carlos at center back, Jason Menendez in center mid, Benji Michel on the wing, or Russell, like those guys, if they can pinch that center of the midfield, prevent Maxi from getting that split and turn it over while they're all pressing up, DK is going to have a field day against them because we know that their back line is leaky, right? So I'm thinking they're going to have a lot of success. Like I said, the big players for me to watch that I'm looking at are the players I kind of just listed, right? The Antonio Carlos, Robin Janssen, Mendez in the center mid, or Russell. Those players who are going to be in the middle part of that defensive junior Urso, those defensive center midfielders, defensive center backs, those players are going to be huge because their job is going to be to prevent Maxi and Castellanos from linking up because that's the only way that they're going to really score, right? That or a Tanner home volley because that seems to be the only two ways that anybody actually scores on that team. But it really, really is going to be key for them to be on the same page for 90 minutes, make sure everything is accounted for, communicate to each other. Galese's got to be on top of his game, quick off his line when they play that little through ball in. It's going to be huge for them because, like we said before, NYC is streaky, and they're streaking in the right direction. But I think Oscar Pareja, with his FC Dallas resume, knowing how to win titles, knowing how to win silverware, is going to be able to make this Orlando team rise to the challenge. I'm going to pick Orlando through this for no reason other than the fact that Daryl DK is an absolute monster. And I think I just took all of Adam's talking points.
No, you're good. I do appreciate the Daryl DK split. So I would have said NYC any other year. So Orlando's first time in the playoffs. In a normal season, I would have said knockout soccer. They don't know what to expect.
Sure.
But they did really well in MLS's back.
Right.
So they now have that experience. They know what they need to do in a knockout setting to then go and kind of do what they need. And I've been more impressed with them this season than I have with NYC, just as a season in general. I think Chris Mueller's been one of the best, I'd say top 5 players this season. Everyone knows I love Daryl DK because he's a freak of nature.
He really is.
It's unbelievable.
And he's good.
Yeah.
He's actually good. When they drafted him, I was sitting there. I'm like, all right, dude's big. He's fast. He's strong. He's related to Emenike. All right, whatever. It's going to be another one of those Orlando City B team kind of phase out. And this dude blew up.
I'm just going to put it out there that Miami could have drafted him number 1, and they let him fall to number 5.
He wasn't supposed to be on the board this year.
I know, but he was still there. So Miami had the first and third pick.
That's fair. They did. They had 2 shots at it.
Yeah.
And they took Robinson, who's been hurt, and they took
Dylan Nealis at 3.
Took Dylan Nealis, yeah.
Dylan's been good. Yeah. And I understand Robbie Robinson was probably the one they had more info on, but Daryl DK is 3 people.
Yeah. Well, I think Orlando Orlando said, I'm going to take one of the 2. It's either going to be DK or Robinson, whoever falls to me. Because I heard there was rumors that DK might jump. But I think basically Orlando's put their feet up and said, all right, whoever falls to us is ours. Because they knew it was Nashville who was going to take they took that center back, didn't they?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then they knew it was going to be Inter going up top, Nashville, and then Inter going with a backliner. So That's who they got.
Yep. Like I was
Anyways.
watching. Yeah, like I was watching the Seahawks game yesterday, and they showed DK Metcalf warming up, and he's got like 15 abs. He's like 6'6", massive human being. I'm just putting it out there. If you name your son DK anywhere in his name, he's probably going to turn out to a freak of nature.
That's how it works. Okay, I'll keep that in mind.
Science.
So you're going Orlando here?
I'm going Orlando.
Interesting. Any players you guys want to keep a special eye on? I listed mine.
I mean, DK.
For me, I'm going to be watching Maxi and Castellanos.
Right, the two forward guys. I'm also interested to see some of the backliners here because I believe, if I just check really quickly, I thought one of their center backs was like super hurt. Yeah, James Sands is not going to be there. And that for me is huge because James Sands is their best defender. So they're going to play either two center backs, two wing backs, and then hold Ring, or they're going to drop Ring into a center back altogether and just leave that midfield completely exposed, which is huge because if Maxi can't do it, there's nobody to win that second ball, right? So if he can't win that second ball, it's just floodgates, and that's going to be huge. So
I'm pretty sure they still have two center backs without having to drop Ring back there.
well, they usually play a 5-back, right, or like a 5-3-2 or something like that. So they're either going to go flat 4 and use Ibiaga, Kyans, Chanot, one combination of those. I think they prefer to drop Ring back versus Ibiaga because Ibiaga is just a walking mistake. Personally.
Well, then in that case, Keaton Parks is going to have to step up.
And that's the thing. Keaton Parks is not a super successful D-mid. He's a great 8, but he's not very good at just sitting there and winning the ball, which is what Ring is phenomenal at. So it'll be interesting. But with Sands out, I think it's a huge loss for them.
They've been playing without him so far. I think they can keep it up.
How long has he been out for a little bit?
Looks like it. I'm
Since
checking.
October 14th. Okay, fair. I don't know. I'm just trying to find excuses now because it's going to be such a good game. I don't think anybody can truly predict it. But I'm going to let Mr. Tamburello start on Columbus RBNY while I get a charger.
So I'm glad he's leaving because I obviously didn't pick the Red Bulls.
He can still probably hear you. He's going to yell at you when he comes back.
Nope. I don't know what you're talking about.
Brian Whites of the world.
I definitely said the Red Bulls are going to score. Brian White's going to have 6 hat tricks in this game, and David Jensen's going to score a bicycle kick goal to end it, just to give me a big middle finger. No, Columbus are winning this game, dude.
No, they're not.
Okay.
Tell me why.
Why do you think they're not? And not because Red Bull fan.
So just enlighten me here for a quick second. Really quick. Who were the 2 worst teams that we were talking about this just before?
Probably Miami and Montreal.
Man, have you had like 17 concussions?
I mean, yes.
All right, so I just want to make sure because I have 2.
What's happening?
Houston.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
United.
I thought you meant that we were the playoff teams.
No. Houston and DC United are 2 of the 3 worst teams in the league, right? And then FCC joins them.
Yep.
Drew Houston 1-1, lost to DC United 1-0.
Yes,
beat Philly 2-1.
This is MLS and there are no rules.
Lost to exactly, which is why Red Bull to the championship. Lost to Orlando on a red card and barely scraped by 10-man Atlanta. Their defense is leaky. Their attack isn't clicking for whatever reason. And Red Bull have Kyle Duncan and Brian White. So, I'll take it up, please.
Kyle Duncan, I will give you. Brian White, not so much.
All right, so here's the deal. Brian White has scored in his last 4 games.
Cool. Someone has to on that team because no one else is going to do it.
Well, this is my point, right? You're asking me, like, what are my points, right? So I've got a striker who's got 4 goals in the last 4 games, 3 of those being game winners. I've got a right back who's U.S. men's national team level at some point.
Yeah.
I've got 2 center backs that were in the men's national team conversation at some point. I've got a center mid. Tim Parker was there at one point. Aaron, yes, he was.
Yeah, but
he was in camp with them. They played together.
Yeah, but like.
All right, relax. I got 2 center mids who can hold. I got 1 center mid who's really good at holding. The other one is really good at passing it sideways.
You knew you weren't getting away with that one.
I wasn't getting away with Sean Davis. No, I wasn't. Sean Davis is a great leader.
I do like Sean.
I've got Brian White. I've got Tom Barlow as a sub who's way faster than people think he is. I've got Flo Velo. I've got Kaku. And I've got Danny Royer. I have a team that is playing well enough with, in the last 5 games, only 1 loss, so 4 out of 5 undefeated. And if we're going to go all the way back, the last time we lost was to Inter Miami on the 7th of October, outside of that NYC defeat. But we're moving in the right direction, right? We were very, very low. We started picking up points, had a little drop-off, picked up points. We're here, right? And we talked about the streaking nature of MLS playoff teams. You don't have to be good. You have to be hitting the right streak at the right time.
That's
Columbus is down this way. Red Bull are coming this way. Now, granted, Columbus are playing poorly, or have been playing poorly, are kind of confused as to what's going on, which means they're going to drop 4 on us and we're going to lose 4-3 or 4-1 or 4-0. I don't know. But we're going to lose this game. But I'm not allowed to say that. So Red Bull take this one at least to the next round.
So in your list of players that Columbus should theoretically be afraid of, you listed a striker and their right back.
Sure, because our right back plays as an Anton Tinner. If I were to list players...
No, I understand. But, like, realistically, your closest target to goal is Brian White. So mark him out of the game, and more than likely they're going to struggle a little bit more to score.
But here's the thing. You can't mark him out of the game because he's one of those players that pops up out of nowhere and gets stupid rat goals. Moran loves this guy because he gets his rat potential through the roof. All right? So, and that's what I'm saying is that the team on paper never has looked good. We haven't looked good on paper for 7 years. Since 2013, we have not looked good on paper. But this team finds ways to get points. Now, I know that I'm saying this all, which means we are going to lose 4-0. So I'm accepting that. But in my heart of hearts, I truly believe that back line will put in a shift because we always step up to challenge against tough games. And I think you give Kaku time and space, which he'll get. You let Velo do his little interchange. And if Bradley Carnell doesn't turn off the high press after 25 minutes like Chris Armas does, we have a good chance in this game. Because what we're going to do is going to press these guys. Jonathan Mensah has been, he was in the Defender of the Year conversation for a little bit, but this last 5-6 weeks he's been awful. Eloy Room, good, not great. Harrison Awful's like 90. I don't even know who the other center back who plays next to Mensah is. It's like Abubakar, isn't it? Not Lawless, but the other one.
The other one.
Yeah. Your left back in Milton Valenzuela, I think him versus Duncan is going to be a great game. Let Christian Caceres snap Zillarian in half, and then Aaron Long just sorts out blonde Mohawk guy over there, and we'll be fine.
Whoa. You use his full title on this show. That's second place in the Golden Boot winning Jesse Zardes.
Stop. Stop. I genuinely believe this game is going to be a lot closer than people think. I think people think this is going to be a blowout. I think people think this is going to be a whitewash of a game. I think this is going to be a lot closer than it is. I think Ryan Mary's been playing very well. I think our back line has been better. Pendant is still awful, and I hate watching him play. But outside of him, if we keep the ball on the right side, we'll be okay. I think we're going to see some good things out of this team, and I'm very excited.
I did not go with Red Bull,
Hater.
obviously.
You didn't go with Red Bull either, Andrew. You literally just said I can't not say.
No,
Red Bull.
I did. I'm going with Red Bull. Red Bull are winning this game.
Okay.
But I know that me saying that equates to a 4-0 loss.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna not pick Red Bull strictly for the fact that I don't want to hear you rant every single time we're doing a round about Red Bull for 10 minutes. No, I'm going with Columbus. I know you talked about form, and you mentioned some of the team, like those bad games that Columbus has had. They've had some pretty good ones recently too. They beat Philly and they beat NYC. Yes, they had those bad games against the awful teams. I think that on paper, this team is definitely superior to Red Bull.
They
And
always
yes,
are.
I know. And yes, Red Bull somehow managed to scrape away points.
Not somehow. It's a good team.
It is somehow.
It's not somehow.
It's not like you're planning on it. It just happens. I think for me, one of the deciding factors could be Caleb Porter because he's done it before. He's won MLS playoffs before. And I think he could do it again in this situation. He knows how to win in the playoffs. He can get his team to, if he can get Columbus to play well like they did in the beginning of the season, they could be unstoppable in the playoffs. It's just going to be a question of, as we've seen in the last couple of games of the season, they're all over the place. Which Columbus are we going to see? I think that we're going to see a pretty good Columbus. So I think that they can beat Red Bull.
I think you're a hater.
Mm-hmm.
Adam, I think you're a traitor. And Red Bull to MLS Cup.
Okay.
That's all I need to say.
He never said Red Bull to win MLS Cup, just to
I just said
make
to it.
it.
Listen, I can't get too excited now. I can't give myself the hope of.
He's been
winning
hurt
it.
before.
That's ridiculous. That's a little extreme. All right, I'm not gonna pretend that we can win things on this team. We couldn't win this thing when we had Thierry Henry. We couldn't win things when we had Tyler Adams. We couldn't. Relax, okay? Just relax. Toronto takes on Nashville. What are we saying?
Why don't you tell us? It's your turn.
Sure. Toronto. I love Nashville, but Toronto, Pablo Piatti and Io Akinola and Pasuelo and Josie Altidore and 90 goals in a game. It's just no. You can't stop Io Akinola.
Yeah, I would have to agree. I think Toronto is what Nashville. I think that's their goal, is to be that kind of system and all around talent, which I think they've done a good job, season one, because not every expansion team, cough Cincinnati, can say that they are building. No, like genuinely, like you can tell this Nashville team was clearly thought out. Like they knew how they wanted to play. Players were brought in.
Phrase, you were shitting on them in the beginning of the season.
Nashville, yes, but
yeah.
but I will hold my hand. I was wrong.
Hand up.
Yeah.
Hand up and apologize right now.
I have apologized to Nashville
because I said that they were going to be better than people thought.
Yeah.
You guys thought they were going to be awful. Just saying.
Yeah, I've been very, very surprised by how good they've looked, but I think Toronto is just that next level or two above them that, like, I don't think they have enough to get over that.
Right, they're the next step, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
So I went with a little bit of the risky pick here, and I went with Nashville. And
whoa.
Well, if I'm gonna back them, I'm gonna back them. I'm going with Nashville because, yes, Akinola has been very good this season. But you know who else has been very good this season? Walker Zimmerman. And I think Walker Zimmerman can definitely keep Akinola from tearing apart Nashville. And then One thing I'm not sure about, I was trying to look into it. Is Piatti going to be playing? Because I
I
think
heard
he's
he
been
was back.
injured.
I heard
He
he
is
was
back.
back.
Okay.
I'll check.
That could change things. I'm still going to stick with Nashville because Toronto has not been great at the end of the season. They have the same form as Miami in the last 5 games of the season. And Nashville's been pretty good. They've been, I mean, not a ton better than Toronto, but I feel like they've been playing pretty confidently lately. They're a team that we know defensively can be super strong. And I think that they can do enough to stop Toronto's attack. It's going to be tough to stop Pazuello, but I think they can do it. And then all they have to do is, win the game the Nashville way. Just get one goal and then just shut them out. And I think they can do it.
I love the optimism. I really do. I think you're bugging, but I love the optimism.
Yeah. If
I don't think.
If Pozuelo wasn't as good as he was, I'd be like, yeah, it's totally
Yeah,
plausible, but like he's really, really good.
you're not waiting on Pazuello to get shut down by Dax McCarty. You're waiting on Pazuello to tear his ACL first minute of the game and not play.
Why would you say that?
That's what you're waiting for.
Don't do that.
Because I'm not saying that's what I want him to do. I hate seeing players get injured, but that's the only way you're going to contain Pazuello is if he gets hurt and he can't play. Because you don't stop a man with that sort of vision and movement. Even Dax, the GOAT, cannot do that. You need to put Dax and Mouille right next to him and just – you need to put Alex Mouille right next to him and say, go be his best friend for 90 minutes and follow him around. Go figure out what flavor gum he chewed today. That's
Well,
how you stop.
if Piatti's not playing, then I feel like you could put more attention on Pazuello and have a better chance of stopping him.
Sure. I think you have a better chance. It's not a good one. It's better. Because you're still playing with Tsubasa Endo on the wing, who's fine. Io Akinola is still a handful. And Love Walker, don't think he's just going to put him in his pocket for 90 minutes. I'd love to see it. I'd love to see Nashville win the whole thing. I don't think it's going to happen.
I think you're just a hater.
No, don't you dare.
Yeah.
That's my line.
You are. You're a hater.
Watch your mouth. Disrespectful man. Anybody else got anything to add? So, Connor, you're watching Walker Zimmerman in this game, huh?
Yep, I'm watching Walker and I'm watching Leal.
Yeah, I would say Leal's a big one for me. And if we're going to talk about the Pazuello Dax, I'm going to watch Dax all day. How wild is it going to be? We're going to see Alex Mouille start a playoff game. That's so exciting.
All it took was him leaving Red Bull.
Over to the West. Sporting KC versus San Jose.
I mean, do we just all say Sporting Kansas City and move on? Like,
I saw a tweet today from Sam Sketchel, and he said it's wild that people are talking about Giaccherini, Zardes, and all the he lists all the players that we've been looking at for striker. He's like, when USMNT have a real number 9, is Wando in the stands with his shirt off, pumping his fist. He's like, the disrespect is unreal. I'm like, oh, you can't post that without somebody commenting Belgium and walking away. Yeah. If Sporting KC lose this game, yikes. They're just, they're another team that's not super great on paper. Sporting KC, personally, I don't think they're that great.
I think they're better on paper than people.
I feel like they're pretty good on paper.
I feel like they're pretty good.
I mean, they're not LA Galaxy bolstered with big names, is what I mean.
Okay, that's fair.
That's probably the way I should have phrased it. They're good on paper, but
I'll say they're the one
they're
seed.
They're not huge DP signing, big name, big money team, right? They've just got. They're a lot like Philly in my eyes, where they've got a lot of players playing the right system.
That's fair.
Sure. But yeah, is Alan Pulido hurt, or is that
I think he's still hurt. I think he's still hurt.
Yeah.
I think they're both hurt. But Vancouver are fine with him being hurt because they don't have games.
They are done. So who fills into the striker spot there?
Shelton.
Kyrie Shelton, Johnny Russell.
Nah, Russell's on the wing. Gerso's on the wing.
It's Shelton or Hurtado, I think.
Yeah, probably Eric
Hurtado or Shelton. See, that's big now because Kyrie Shelton, Eric Hurtado, not phenomenal.
No, but they've played most of the season without Polito, and they've done pretty well. So, like, it's not as – yes, and you know, this is me talking like Polito's very good. So, obviously, not having him in there is a big loss, but the two guys that they've had in there have done well enough that, like, they still finish with the top seed. And this isn't going to be a hard game for them, hopefully.
See, you say that, and then something wild.
Right, and then San Jose is going to win 4-0, and I'm going to look like an idiot.
So, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, whatever. But
I'm just trying to look up their top goal scorers here. We're looking at –
my guess would be Johnny Russell.
Alan Polito's got 7. Russell's got 6. Gotti Kinda's got 6.
Yeah, those are all from, like, the beginning of the season.
Yeah. Eric Hurtado's got 5. Shelton's got 5. Gerso's got 3. So they're spread. But if Polito's out, that's their top goal scorer, and then all you got to do is, in Connor's words, is just mark Russell out of the game, right?
Is Gotti Kinda hurt also?
No.
He wasn't in there 18 last game, or however many guys it is now. I guess it's 20. He wasn't in there 20 last game.
Really?
Yeah, that might have just been
a one-out thing.
Yeah, whatever.
But he's not even on the bench.
Could have picked up a mini knock at training.
Yeah, could have been something like save him for their playoff game. Like they had already clinched. There's no reason for him to play.
Right, and first place doesn't really do much outside of, you know, give you a worse player, right? A worse team to play. Because if we go back to the game that they played against Cincinnati, which was a week beforehand, he started. So I'm not worried. I don't see – I see this being closer than people think, but I see Kansas City coming out on top. Oh, man, part of me really wants to put San Jose through.
That's because they're going to win.
Honestly, because now that I think about it, right, as long as they don't start Daniel Vega and they play with that Gooners Never Die attitude, I have some weird feeling they're going to pull some random stuff off.
I mean, you know they're going to start Daniel Vega, so the fact that you just said that.
They're not. JT started every game.
I don't know.
Since, like, when was the last time that Daniel Vega played? JT's starting over Daniel Vega. Now, granted, they got smashed by Sounders last week. I don't know, man. They're so streaky that I feel like anything can happen. They beat LAFC, and then they got blown out by Sounders.
Beating LAFC is not as hard as you think it is this year.
No, fair. But I'm just saying they can beat some teams, man.
This game's going to be like –
JT is their starting goalkeeper now. Now, what I'm worried about is Florian Youngworth being 90 years old and not being able to run.
Yeah, I went with SKC also.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking I don't know Polito's injury exactly. I don't know what his timetable is, but San Jose is a good matchup for the first round if you're waiting to get Polito back. If you can – that's a game they can get by without him. Sure. And then hopefully get him back for the game after that. And then they could be the strongest team in the West with him in the lineup.
Sure. They also lost the Quakes also lost to Vancouver. But they tied Seattle 0-0 on match day 12. I don't know, man. This whole game is just – MLS has no rules. I really want to put San Jose through now. Oh, goodness.
They had a point in the season where they lost 6-1 to Portland and then lost 5-0 the next game to Colorado.
And then they went back and drew like 0-0 3 games in a row. They just stopped giving up goals. And then they started scoring goals and winning.
They're so random that they're probably win this game.
Well, this is what I mean. They're the most streaky team in the league. They just got blown out. they could probably come back and drop 3 on SKC and just walk out of there with their heads. I'm going to keep it SKC, but I want it to be known that I have a feeling something wild's about to happen. Let's go on to the Loons versus Colorado. Adam, talk to me.
Did you go to me because you know I'm putting Colorado through?
I went to you because I want to hear what you're thinking.
Honestly, my only thinking is like I have to put Colorado through. They didn't finish obviously as high as I thought they would be, but like still finishing 5th. Like for the up and down season that they've had, it seemed like their games were getting canceled more than everyone else's. To finish in 5th, like they were obviously winning games that they needed to. I've seen more of Minnesota this season, so this one to me can go either way, which is why I then picked Colorado. I'm sure you and Connor both will pick Minnesota, so I have no problem being the standalone here.
You know what's wild? I had Colorado up until
you did
right now, and I'm changing it.
Wow.
You want to know why? Because Minnesota unbeaten in their last 8 games, and we talked about Colorado and their games canceled and whatever. They've played like so few games. And when they did play, they either ran it up or got the snot kicked out of them. They beat 10-man Real Salt Lake 5-0. All right, so we'll go with they beat 10-man Real Salt Lake 5-0, 10-man Galaxy 2-0, lost to FC Dallas 4-1, beat San Jose 5-0, lost the next game 4-0, lost 2-1 to Minnesota, 3-1 to beat Seattle 3-1, beat Portland 1-0, and then beat Houston 2-1. So I don't know, man. This team, but the weirdest thing is, right, when you look at those games, the last 3, Seattle, Portland, Houston, the 1st, the 4th, and the 8th of this month. Then you had the 28th of last month, the 24th of last month, and then the 23rd of the September. They literally had a month off where they just didn't play. So how they're like in a good spot, but now they have this 2-week break. It's like, okay, what are you going to do now? Are you going to go back and be the team that comes off of a break and gets their asses handed to them 4-0? Minnesota beat them already. Oh, I got to do it. Colorado.
Yeah,
Colorado
there we go. Attaboy.
Join
the dark side.
It's a very dark side, but here I am. Because, again, MLS has no rules. You have to pick outside of what you think.
Exactly.
Colorado through.
I will pick Minnesota for you.
Thank you. I need someone to put them through.
Joke's on you guys. DC's winning this entire thing, even though they're not in the playoffs.
All right, we're gonna mute you real quick. Can
Guess who's gonna score the winning goal?
I'm the host.
Landon Donovan, who apparently is in the top 25
Stop!
player.
No, I'm not doing this again.
Never heard of him. Don't know who that is.
Connor, tell me why Minnesota's going through before I punch at him through the screen.
As you said, they've been good towards the end of the season. I feel like this is going to sound weird, but I feel like it makes a little bit of sense. Playing MLS Fantasy since we've been back, just following the price point of Metaneer just gives me a good idea of how Minnesota's been playing throughout this season. Where he got down to a point where his price range in fantasy was like, I think, a 4
million,
which is the lowest you can go. And then he finished the season at like 10. So he skyrocketed. And I think that Minnesota followed his play as well. They just continuously got better throughout the season. And I don't think they slowed down at all at the end of the year. I mean, on form, they're the best team in the West right now. So you have Kevin Molino, who looked fantastic last game. You have a back line that can easily lock things up. I mean, if you had Ike Opara in this game, it's over.
Tyler Miller, too.
Tyler
Tyler Miller, too.
Yeah, Tyler Miller as well. I still think they have enough to get past Colorado because, like you said, the break thing as well is that could play a factor. I mean, last time they had that sort of like long break, they got crushed. So let's see what happens again.
Adam, you got to do a better job of convincing me because I'm about to change back to Minnesota.
So I just want to point out to Andrew that how come it's okay when Connor uses fantasy to make his arguments, but not when I do it?
So I want to be fair that I was going to slate him on it, but I had to look something up first because I forgot Dwayne St. Clair is playing for Minnesota, who is on fire.
Yes.
Yeah, I was going to say Connor, but here's the thing. Connor used it as a really intelligent point, following the price point of one player to understand the tactics of how another team plays. You just say, FC Dallas players got me a lot of points, so FC Dallas is on through. Connor used it intelligently. You use it like a 12-year-old.
Fine.
And for that reason, the Loons to the conference semis.
Whatever.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. They've had 2 points during this season where they've had long breaks.
Yeah.
They had a month break from July to August. The first game back in August, they lost 4-1 to RSL. And then they had that other break when then they came back and lost 4-0 to SKC. Now they're on another 2-week break. I think Minnesota could run them into the ground based off that.
See, Adam? Numbers.
You clearly haven't seen Andre Shinyashiki play, though.
Does he even play?
Yeah. He scored the last couple games for him.
Really? I haven't heard his name once, and I figured knowing you.
Believe so.
I hear it at least once.
Hey, man. I've been quiet. There's not a whole lot of room on this hype train left. I got to start kicking people off of it.
Shut up. He does play. He started. But he didn't score the last game. Yunus Nalmi scored. Yunus Nalmi is quietly good.
He's not quietly good. He is good.
See, now I got to pick him. He didn't play. He wasn't even in the 18. Oh, yeah, he was. He was on the wing. Shinyashiki moves around too much for me. Loons to the offs. Count it. Portland FC Dallas, second to last game.
Portland.
I didn't even know FC Dallas was in the playoffs. Again, I'm telling you, man.
You just hate Texas teams.
Man, don't exist. Texas isn't a real state.
Texas is a very big state. What happens when Austin – what are you going to do next year when they have a third team?
Give Texas back to Mexico. We don't use them anyway. What do they do? They're just the home of some sketchy soccer teams, some really low-key bad football teams, and the Texas Rangers? Like, is that the only good baseball team that's coming out of Texas? They're useless. Give them to Mexico. Let's have a weird cutout country and send Portland to the playoffs, please, because the FC Dallas don't make any sense.
This is funny coming from someone that lives in Kentucky.
Listen. The disrespect.
Hands up if you can point to Kentucky on a map.
I can.
Exactly.
I can now. I can now. Don't disrespect my state. Go disrespect other people's states. Dallas without Oscar Pereja are like Red Bull without BWP. Are they good? Sometimes. Can they play? Sure. Are they going to do it every game? No. Are they going to do it when it counts? Probably not. Portland, lots of good strikers. Diego Chara's brother, Steve Clark. Portland.
Yeah, no disagreements from me. I'm going Portland as well. I feel like Portland is one of like 3 teams in MLS that just become super teams all of a sudden when there's knockouts.
Yeah.
I mean, it feels like, see, this is something that probably was easy to forget just because it feels like it was so long ago, but they won MLS's back tournament. So
oh my God, they did.
Clearly they can do it in the knockouts with the team that they currently have.
Can they do the double? Does this count as doing the double?
I was just about to ask that. I think so.
I would think it counts.
Like, I guess. Do you get an actual trophy for MLS's back? You didn't just get like a handshake and, well, I guess you can't get guess you can't get a
No
can't
handshakes.
get a- Yeah,
No handshakes.
you get like an Air 5 and like
Is-
John's son.
And Mickey Mouse.
Yeah,
Is Paxton Pomical still hurt?
Think so.
I don't know.
All right, that's the wrong article because that said they had Andrasic. They don't have Andrasic.
Oh, I wish they had Andrade.
I wish they did too. That's
Love that man.
all right. According to Transfer Market, Paxton Pomical had groin surgery. He's done. Yeah, so Pomical's out. Somehow he's still the second, like, 20 under 20 or 22 under 22. He's like number 2 on that list. He hasn't played in months. Oh, MLS. Yeah, this isn't hard. This is Portland. I think it'll be closer because FC Dallas are going to just park the bus and say, let's go to penalties and see if we can get out of it. But, yeah. Give me
I mean,
Portland.
if in fairness, if it does go to penalties, I think Dallas will win it.
Why?
I don't know. I feel like all their defenders know how to take penalties for some reason.
Don't hate on my boy Steve Clark.
I'm not. I just feel like all of Dallas's team knows how to take penalties. Like, isn't their penalty taker?
Hollingshead
Yeah.
or Ziegler.
Or yeah, it's one of them.
Yeah,
It's a center back for sure.
it's one of the
Yeah.
defenders.
Oh, I love that. All right, let's just move on. I can't talk about that team anymore. Seattle LAFC. Carlos Vela is back. Backline still, nah. They're still playing Kenneth Vermeer. Seattle, Rui Diaz, Nico Ladero, Stephen Fry. Is it a contest? Is it going to be close?
I don't think so. I think Seattle walk away with this. I don't understand, and I understand it's Carlos Vela, but how are you gonna spend the entire season off because you don't feel safe, and then as soon as you guys hit the playoffs, like, I feel safe now. Everything's good.
Man, if I'm LAFC fans, I'm losing my mind over that.
Right? Like, they're obviously happy he's back because he's far and away their best player, but like, what changed from like COVID's literally getting worse now.
Yeah, and he's like,
It's
I'm
not
good
like
to
we're
go.
in the clear, and now he's suddenly like, I feel safe enough to play. Like, it's getting worse, and you're still like, I feel good now. Like,
No, I think he did have a muscle injury trying to come back and play. Now,
yes,
I don't know what that.
Probably took his time recovering from that one.
So the injury report for this game the injury report. Yeah, so back when they were playing Seattle in October, Carlos Vela was listed as not medically cleared. So whatever his injury was, it was not COVID. However, I agree.
no, but
Man, I really want to put LAFC forward.
Right, didn't he not travel with them
For a while, yeah.
Right, like that was COVID related.
That was for the tournament.
Right,
All right. So now I'm looking here.
but yeah, you can't suddenly get to playoffs and now be like, hey guys, like I feel better. Thanks for doing all the work this season.
I'll carry you.
Will he carry them?
I feel like if anybody on that team deserved a break, it was definitely Vela after he carried them last year.
So this, I think, is going to actually be interesting. So when did he come back? Just like last week, didn't he?
He's been like on the bench a couple times. I think he started one game and then he was back on the bench, and then I think he started the last game, something like that.
Are we really going to sleep on Bradley Wright? Yes, we are. Bradley Wright Phillips in the playoffs isn't Bradley Wright Phillips, right? We agree on this. Is this going to be the 1 year Bradley Wright Phillips scores the goals that he needs to score in the playoffs? Is he not going to choke for the first time? Man, as much as I'd love to see it, and I mean this genuinely, I would love to see Bradley Wright Phillips lift an MLS Cup. It would kill me if he did it the first year he left by scoring like 4 goals in the playoffs. It would kill me. because I'll be watching and being like, why didn't you do that for us in the 7 times we got to the semifinals?
I mean, there's a couple of pretty big differences. You guys didn't have Diego Rossi and Carlos Vela.
We had Alex Muil and
Brian White.
Danny Royer.
Yeah.
Danny Royer on the other side. It's basically the same thing. Man, I'm thinking about it. I don't think this team has I'm trying to think of the right word, but the drive, right? To if they go down 1-0 early, is Diego Rossi and Brian Rodriguez really going to play their heart out to try and get to the next stage of a playoff that they don't care about because they're leaving next year anyway? Not even a little bit, right?
Awesome.
They're gonna. No, I can literally see Brian Rodriguez and Diego Rossi just asking to sub off, being like, I got a $20 million transfer coming in the next few months. Please don't play me in this game anymore. This doesn't mean anything to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man, I don't know. Yeah, I gotta go Seattle on this. I feel like it's just a bad pick not to go Seattle here.
Yeah, I'm going Seattle also. I can't look at that LAFC back line and think
That
they're gonna hold it down enough to stop Rui Diaz, Morris, and Lodero.
Sure, yeah.
One other thing is that, okay, so I think they've played each other a few times this year, and it's been like really back and forth. LAFC won the last meeting 3-1.
Yeah.
And then Seattle won 3-0. And then
Oh man, I have a mark on my screen, and I thought that was an 8. I was like, where did I miss that game? And then it was 3-1.
Yeah, 3-1, but then
was
LAFC won like
LAFC
4-1. Yeah.
in round of 16.
So the one game that Seattle won 3-0, their center back pairing for that game was Gomez and Arriaga. And I feel like that's going to be their center back pairing for this game as well. I think those two, obviously they teamed up well to stop LAFC before. I think they could do it again to at least, I know Vela's back now. That's a difference maker, obviously. But I think they can do enough to at least slow them down enough that Lodero, Rui Diaz, and Morris can pick apart their really bad back line.
So when they played San Jose, Gomez Andrade and Arriaga were their backline pair.
Mm-hmm.
So if they can clean it up. However, I'd be curious to see if the last time when they lost to them, that was also their pairing.
It was, I think O'Neal played instead of Arriaga. I think every other game except that one game,
it was Shane
O'Neal was in. Yeah.
Oh, Shane O'Neal. They've been trying to get that transfer through for years, and then finally came in, and he's just oof. All right. Seattle.
Yeah.
That does it then. That is the first round. The cool thing about this is the conference semis don't kick off until next weekend. So we'll be back with another episode outlining those. And I believe it's like every weekend after that. So we will have an episode every week outlining the games going forward, just like we used to. But we'll have more time to talk about transfers and other things like that, which is exciting. But that's all I got. Anybody else got anything else? Because I think that is –
Are we doing scores?
Yes. Good boy, Connor Wright. All right. New England, Montreal. I'll go with – hold on. MLS Cup Playoffs round 1. Adam.
2-0.
You're gonna have to do better than that.
17-0. What do you want from me?
I forgot we talked about who we want to win. Right? Just remind me who you picked. 2-0 New England. Connor.
2-1 New England.
I want to go 1-0 New England. The next one is Nashville versus Inter Miami. Adam.
1-0.
Connor?
2-1, Nashville.
Man, I think Connor's just going to keep that for every score. Excuse me. I want to say 3-1, Nashville. Next game is Philly versus, we said New England, right?
Yep.
Go ahead.
3-0.
Yikes. Connor?
Philly are good, man.
I was also going to say 3, but I'll say 2-0.
I'm going to go ahead and say 2-1, Philly. Next game was Orlando v NYC. Adam?
2-1.
2-1 who?
Orlando.
Okay. Connor?
I'm going to say 3-1, NYC.
Whoa, you're bugging. I'm going to go I was also going to go 2-1 Orlando, I think. I'll go 3-1 Orlando. We'll be tricky about it. Next one, Columbus versus future MLS Cup champions Red Bull.
3-1.
3-1 Red Bull.
No, 3-1.
Connor?
1-0 Columbus.
I'm going 1-0 RBNY. Next game was Toronto v Nashville. Adam?
2-0.
Connor?
1-0 Nashville.
I am going to go
Wild.
2-1 Toronto. Next game was SKC versus San Jose. Adam?
2-0.
Connor?
3-2 SKC.
This is where I'm going to get tricky. Remember I told you something wild was going to happen?
5-4.
This game is going to be
Probably.
1-1 SKC on PKs. That's right. We're doing something wild. Next game is Loons versus Colorado. Adam?
2-1, but Colorado win in penalties.
So you're going to go 1-1 Colorado in penalties.
Correct.
Connor?
I'll go 2-0 Minnesota.
And then I put Minnesota through. I think it's going to be 0-0 Minnesota on PKs. Yeah, we're going to mix things up a little bit. Next up was – who was next?
Portland, Dallas.
Oh, God, that's right. See, again, I forgot they even existed. Portland, Dallas. Adam?
3-1. No, 3-0. I don't think Dallas is scoring.
Connor?
I'll say 2-0.
I was going to go 2-1. Give them a goal there. The last one, Seattle versus LAFC. Adam?
2-1.
Connor?
I want an interesting one for the last one, so I'll say 4-3 Seattle.
Nice. I was going to go 2-2 Seattle on PKs. And that is it. We will make sure we post these up so people know we aren't cheating by the end of the week. Anybody want to add any last little bits other than obviously Red Bull winning it all?
I got nothing.
All right. Well, that's it for us, everybody. Thank you for joining us for our soon-to-be perfect picks, as we all know. Yeah, thank you for listening this far. If you've made it this far, give us a hashtag. I want to say RBNY champs. Hashtag RBNY champs.
Oh my Lord.
If you made it this far, tweet it at us because I know some people are texting us who listen to us. So make sure you tweet it at us so we can retweet you and share your listening to the world. Yeah, let us know what you think of our predictions. Let us know what you think is going to happen. I've already second guessed about 9 of mine, so I'm not going to change them. I'm going to keep them where they are, but I kind of want to change them. Let's go ahead and make sure you all follow us on social media: Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, anywhere you get your podcast, so that we can let you know when we're going live. Let us know. We can let you know when we're live and give you updates, and you can listen to us as soon as we are live. Other than that, I got nothing. They got nothing. Give us a comment. Let us know what you think, and we'll see you next time on the next episode of the Designated Players Podcast. See ya.